Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the Insaka Talk Show. So this is Happy Hour, Freaky Friday, and
Hey.
we're having fun, freestyle, enjoy. This is
Yep.
the Insaka with men and women. We are here to entertain,
Oh
educate,
yes.
and enlighten and empowering. So welcome to the Insaka page, and please subscribe, like, and share our content.
Share, share, share.
Cheers.
Mm.
What?
Mm.
Let it
Listen, you are lucky I came with a small glass. Why are you drinking water?
You guys
You
didn't
know-
tell me I was supposed to bring something.
Now, this is not just water; it's actually holy water. You
Did Dr. Musama pray over it?
No, I didn't. So you can.
yeah. I mean, all things were created by the Almighty, so they are holy, in my opinion. But no, I have a soccer game today. Every Friday, I play soccer.
Okay.
So I gotta hydrate, because if you don't hydrate, you get those cramps, and they are real. They are real.
Like crumbs. Look at
So-
him talking about crumbs. Like they're real. We're like, yeah, they're real.
hmm
That's
that's why I'm hydrating. But tomorrow I'm gonna party.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it's a birthday weekend, so you need to like go down.
Yeah, it's my birthday weekend, and so on Sunday we're gonna go to Top Golf. Yeah, my wife and kids will be at the Top Golf and just swinging away. And just for the record, I'm not gonna be driving, so
That's good that you had to enlighten us about that, because at least any of the cops would know that, okay, even if they stop you, you're okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be driving. My wife will be driving. Sometimes you gotta have a plan before you have the party. But some of these DUIs are pretty expensive. I think a DUI can cost you anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000. Now, if you want to get Uber, usually it's like $50, $60 most. You're like, I'd rather pay $60 any day, anytime versus $6,000. Maybe it's just me.
And it's actually you lose a lot, your life, your career, and it's just a lot. You don't want to go into jail at all, so it's not worth it.
No,
Exactly.
just Uber any day, anytime. And I wish I was like Ernest. I'm sure that Ernest, he doesn't drink, and if he does drink, it's it's
Water.
just a sip of wine, right?
You know.
Wow, that's interesting. You want to enlighten us?
Oh, you know what's interesting, right?
Yeah.
I people ask me often if I drink, and I tell them that no, I haven't started yet. And then they're like, "Oh, so do you plan to start?" I say, I don't know. We've seen people who are Christians for 100 years,
Leave me alone.
and they change along the way. So I don't plan to change my stance, but you never know. So I just tell them that I haven't started yet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a good answer.
We didn't introduce Sandra. So Sandra, welcome to the Insaka Talk Show.
Yeah, let's hear more about Sandra.
She's gonna be
yes.
our guest Fridays. She'll be coming in, and we're gonna sip wine together. And
Okay.
Sandra, introduce yourself. To Pastor
Yes,
Ernest.
as long as I can bring my glass of wine,
Yes,
I'm here.
that's why.
Yeah.
That's why you are here only for Sundays or for Fridays.
Exactly. Only for Fridays.
Right?
Yeah.
That's okay.
No, it's
Why
okay.
not Sunday? Why not Sunday?
The Sunday
Well,
is the Insaka Talk Show. When she comes Sunday, she's gonna be like in books
I
and all
have
that.
to be. I have to be
Professional.
professional
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Oh,
Yeah.
So today I'm taking my therapist hat off and just being fun, Sandra. So my name, as you can see, is Sandra Tindwa. That's my maiden name. That's my Facebook name. My name is Sandra Samuels now. I am married. I have 2 girls, 9 and 6.
oh, nice.
Yes, 9 and 6.
That's nice.
And my husband is Jamaican. Don't even ask me how we met. It's a
How did you
long
meet?
story.
How did you meet?
That's the first question. That's the first question I have here.
I'm sorry. So I'm just going to say we met in a restaurant. That's all I can say. Was it a restaurant? No. It was a restaurant during the day. You know New York City, how
Oh yes.
it turns into something else at
Wow.
night. So
Oh,
I met
really?
him. Yeah, so it's a restaurant during the day, and then in the
Okay.
evening it becomes a club.
Lounge.
Okay.
Okay.
Like a lounge club thing. So that's how I met him. And
Okay.
I met him in 2004. And I arrived in America 2003. I met him 2004, and I have been stuck with him forever.
That's a beautiful story. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
story.
So I live in Long Island, New York, Long Island. I'm a marriage and family therapist. What else? I work in social services in New York.
Okay.
We provide housing to a special population that I can't say right now, just in case clients are watching. We provide behavioral health therapy, providing housing for them, making sure they have stable housing, and that's it about me. That's too serious.
Anyway.
Well, as you heard, it's a special population, so you have to be in that population to qualify.
Hey, that means you have to qualify. Are you from Lusaka, Kitwendola, Chipata, Mongo, Barotseland?
Southern,
I know.
Mongo. Yeah, did you mention Mongo?
No, I said
Yeah, right.
Barotseland. You gotta say Barotseland.
Oh yeah.
I know they want to become their own country. Yeah. So I was born in Kitwe, and then I moved to Chilabombwe, and then I moved back to Kitwe, and then I moved to Lusaka. Lusaka is where I was last before I came here.
So all of us here have had some type of Kitwe connection. Kopala in the view.
That's why we listen to Chiller One in undercovers.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I was one of those people when he won those awards. Ask Winnie. I was one of those people. Every day I was posting Chiller One. You need to win this award.
It was just for free. You know what I wanted us to talk about? I wanted us to talk about what we had on the conversation was brought in so we have our page at Insaka Family, men and women. So it was about how men feel they're not valid. Like men don't really speak about themselves, how they feel when they meet a woman. So men, the only thing they have is to provide for women, like to make sure a woman is doing good, to make sure you have your makeup, to make sure you're feeling okay, to make sure your feelings are valid. And then they don't really express themselves how they feel. So I feel like tonight, I think will be a good conversation where we can dive in, since we have 2 men and 2 ladies, and you being a therapist. I mean, I'm not going to put you there. Keep on having your wine, but you can speak over your wine. I will give you one.
No problem.
But I feel like there's so much, when Victor answered that, I'll share with you, Sandra. Victor answered, and the way you answered was really nice. That it's true. Men are not specific to what they want when they meet a woman. We know what we want because we ask: are we going to get married? Are we just going to be dating? Are we going to have kids? And then on the middle of everything, we ask. But men don't tell us because they feel like if they tell us, maybe we'll leave them. I don't know. So I throw it down there. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I think, generally speaking, women tend to be a little more strategic in their thinking, especially when we are growing up. You can be the same age as a young girl, but the way they think is a lot more strategic than a young boy. They start being taught how to be, how to prepare a kitchen, how to prepare a meal. When for me, I was just making wire cars. The wire cars will not help me in my life. So ladies tend to mature faster than men, and it becomes exponentially more. So when two people meet, guys, their needs are very, very basic. But the ladies, like Winnie said, are we gonna get married? Are we gonna buy a house? How is life gonna look like 5-10 years from now?
Mhm.
But sometimes, unfortunately for us guys, it's like, how is tomorrow gonna look like? And we need to change.
Yeah, I agree with you, Victor. It's like it does take a long time.
Yes, it's
Oh yeah.
Friday.
No,
Yeah.
kweta amajamaican varenga umvogo so tulande mchiveni. So okay, chachine ka ipipina walanda takati aba umwame nga. So it's true, we mature at different levels, right? And the way I'll give an example. Kwati na wine nishtwa kumene. Ofanale fa Winnie knows my story. Ofanale fa 30% Nalanda nankwe, na very honest and open. Nalanda nankwe, and then I started like in. And I said, okay, na yaine na msango fonde fire, and then to inga le sale patka wanted to kabweshana, and it happened. Na stop and I focused down, and I concentrated on that, and to asabweshanya. And look at us now. Twice. So when finally we said, okay, we love each other, we're being serious, we started having more hierarchic. We started having more serious conversations about, okay, what's next. But it was we were kind of delayed. It was like in our 30s when we started making those serious plans, because in our 20s. One person wanted to be this way, another person wanted me. I'm just like, come on, we need to settle down, we need to do this, we need to do that. But we're on different levels. And then when we became on one path and understanding that path, we are stronger like that. Because I can sense when, okay, something is wrong. I have said he's going through a bad day at work. I can sense that because we are now more open to communicate with one another. But it's just not the same for men and women. And also the way Zambian women were brought up is for us to be in the home, for us to be a woman, to be home, to provide all these things. I am not that, unfortunately. I want to work. I want my own money. I want my own paycheck. I don't want to be asking a person for me to buy certain things. So there was all these things for myself that I wanted, that I needed to accomplish, right? Before we came to that position where we can say, okay, we need to now get serious and move on to the next step. So yeah. Yep. But if you are in a relationship with a person and you care about them, you have to push them sometimes to ask those questions, so those deeper questions, and wait. Sometimes you don't have to say, oh, you're not answering me, I'm going to get upset. You can't do that because that person hasn't had that growth of being able to answer those questions, right? To answer those questions readily. And men don't want to be judged the way they respond. They're afraid, oh, I'm going to be considered as being weak if I
the ego.
if I share my feelings. If I share how it's rare to see a man cry, right? But when you see the person cry, to show you that means that person is opening up to you. So yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna go to
You're gonna go what?
Ernest.
Oh.
You know what? I don't know what I think about this whole thing, but I believe that it's true. The females tend to mature quite early. I have a 7-year-old niece. At 5, she was already displaying or exhibiting those ideas of, oh, mommy, would you buy me a doll? I want my own baby. And when you look at the older brother, who's at the time was 7-year-old, he's thinking about, oh, can I get some kind of toy,
Get a
car?
Yeah.
You know, so we really matured differently.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of affects us. But also when we talk about men, I think because we are goal-oriented, like, you know, if I were to get married, my wife and my kids would depend on me. So I think that our thinking also goes into those serious things, like, you know, this is what I want to achieve, rather than me telling somebody, say, you know, I want to be going to the gym. Are you going to be able to come with me? Those for us are like minor things. So we tend to focus on the major things, so that once I accomplish that, for me, that's me being a man. That's what brings out the man, that manhood in me, that this is a man who has a house, he has a car. It identifies me with someone who will be able to take care of the family in that way. But for our friends, right, the other gender, even though she's telling you that, you know, I want to make sure that I do this, I want to go to school. If she does not have parents, right, to sponsor for school, she's telling you that that's what she wants to do. Part of it is that, are you going to be able to help me do this? Okay, but you and I are Victor. We won't be able to say, no, I'm dating Miss Winnie, and then at the same time I say I want to go to school and I'm expecting her to help me with the fees.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's out of that's not the way. But if she brings up that part of her life, as in, no, she wants to go to school, she's telling me what is important to her at that particular point. Like Miss Sandra, when you were telling him, hey, this is what I want to accomplish, part of you was asking you, is this guy going to be able to help you throughout this process, right? So in as much as they are open and they want to say what they're honest and all of that, we can't rule out the fact that somehow their dependence is on us. And this is why most of us, we want to make sure you are in a position where you'll be able to help that significant person, and they won't have to go somewhere else. So we want to make sure we have our financial muscle is up to par, so that when she says, honey, I'd like to go back to school, okay, I'll be a part of this responsibility. So I think that's part of, the answer. That's what I would say. I'm not sure what, others think.
I like your answer. Go ahead, Sandra.
I do too. And I just want to point out that I independently went to school on my own. That I did not I did not seek help from him or from anybody. I went through my master's degree paying for school on my own. I worked with children and but to some point, I do agree with what you said. Like being Jamaican, my husband being Jamaican, he's brought up as the way we are also brought up. Men in Zambia are brought up. You have to be responsible for your children, for your family. Everything has to be taken care of. You as a man cannot go and not provide for your family. So for him, he's thinking that in his head. Where we are right now, it was stressful finding this home. I am thankful that he's a level-headed person, that we were able to do this in the 6 months that we looked for a house. It was crazy looking for a house for 6 months, but I'm grateful that he's where he is financially, and like both, where we are. I wouldn't do it without him, and at the same time he wouldn't do it without me to a certain point, to a certain degree. But I do agree with you. It's like men are brought up that you are a provider. Whether they are not providing, I'm sure even though the woman is the one who's earning more money, it must be worrying a person to say she's getting more money than I am in this home. I don't know. Because in the head, you're just wired that way to say, I am a provider as a man.
Correct.
Yeah. It feels a certain way when, I'll be honest, it feels a certain way when your income is below for me anyway, below my significant other, because there's been moments where she's bringing in more than I am. I'm like, I feel men are raised, maybe they are wired to be competitive. So, yeah, because it's like, you know what? Yeah, we are right there neck and neck. But even if it's just $1,000 or two, I feel a little bit better. I'm like, you know, but to Ernest's point, you know, when a couple is together and one says, I want to go to school, especially if the lady says, I want to go to school, sometimes the support is not necessarily material. The support can come in a lot of ways because, especially for the kids, for a while, I had to be kind of a girly dad because my wife was going to school and working full time. And, you know, some people looking from the outside, they'll be like, you know, why are you doing it? Why are you always with the kids? Yeah. Well, because my wife is, you know, she's going to school. She secured her own finances. And the good thing is her employer is actually paying for her master's degree after the fact, blah, 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 blah. So on the material side, it's set up, but on the parenting side, the support is massive. You gotta roll up your sleeve as a man to let your significant other go to school. Otherwise, that's why Zambia bakaja n'okubomba ku Zambia tuwira bomba n'okubomba.
Exactly, because that means I may get paid more than you do one time.
I think that when you say that, I think now it comes to the place where we women can only find like I'm saying in the place from where I came from, my past life, because I have children, as you guys know. I think when you're at the place where, as a woman, and this is for all women, I mean, not everybody, whoever's gonna think of it and it makes sense. I'm drinking wine, so I don't know if it's gonna make sense, but I'll try.
I'm sure it will make sense.
So far.
So it's like when you meet somebody and then you think you're on the same page, but the other one is thinking a different way. And then as a woman, we try to invest in. So for fellow women, please, when you are with the person, when you know, there's always those, the intuition. When you feel you cannot invest anymore, listen to it. Because we women, sometimes we try to invest in other people so that, when they get a chance, because you know, especially like for who I am, right? I'd rather like, you're going to get it. You go get it. Because I know when you get it, I can be able to go here and do it all because you'll be secure. I met my ex when we were 23, 24. So we're very young. So for me, sitting down, like, you invest this, you do this, let's do this. So for me, it was like, I think you do that. Like, you know, it's the other way around. We're both at the same level. But I knew that for him, you'll be able to bring in more and much more. So for me, I'll be secure to do whatever that I wanted to do. And then to just realize your friend is not thinking the way you're thinking. They're thinking about something else. So after you've been for a long time, you're like, damn, what was I doing? So for this, the young women, like Sandra was saying, it's good to be independent. And like you said, the way we were brought up as a young woman in Zambia, not even Zambia, Africa, maybe a culture, I'll say culture. We were brought up where when you meet your partner that you want to be with, especially as a man, you let him lead, right? So you give it all because this partner of yours, you get him married or you're married, you let them lead. But when they lead, how they lead you, you'll be thinking like, because he's the man, he's leading, right? Regardless. But you are not putting yourself first.
Yeah.
as on the other side with Sandra, I'm glad you left to go figure yourself. Because no, you didn't leave. I'm glad you made a decision. Like, let me go get what I'm supposed to do it, and then I'll come back if we're meant to be. But some of us were not strong enough. We became strong enough after the fact.
No,
Yeah.
I am not afraid to take the next step.
No, for me,
move,
it took. I
move.
think for me, like you said, for me, it took 15 years to in the mix to realize it. Damn, it's been 15 years. I am not growing, but you are growing. I am going to take my kids and I'm out. But it took that long because I was expecting men, like you said, we always think men are going to lead, men going to give you a great decision. Of course, they're going to be always supportive and everything. But your inner system is just telling you, this is not it. This is not it. This is not it. Yeah.
But I have to say, Winnie, so I've known Winnie a while, even before when she was with the person that she's talking about. And I've seen growth in her. I admire her. Listen, I tell her, I don't know how you do it. If I didn't have my husband, I don't know how I'll do it. Like right now, he's somewhere there with them. Now imagine it's just me. So listen, you just watching you, it should be an empowerment. Like just using you as a picture on the wall and say, listen, if you want to feel empowered, if she can do it, you can do it too, because you have been through your ups and downs, but you have persevered. Your children are amazing. I'm not just saying this because she's my friend, but it's the honest truth. It's not easy being a single mom. It's not easy just being a mom, and it's not easy. Now imagine being a single mom, and you do an amazing job. So don't limit yourself.
That's something like, you invest in, like women are saying, like we expect men to take care of us, but when you invest in so much, and then you realize it, and then you see but we gotta win everything if it's happening, and then you're like, okay, it's happening, but I don't see my part.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes finding the right partner is, you can be strategic and you can know what exactly you're looking for. But part of it is also you're just lucky, and you are just maybe you can call it luck, or you can call it being blessed, or you can call it chance. But there's an element of chance and luck which anybody could have met a wrong person and things could have been disastrous, as in disaster. and so, it takes a lot of work to make, a relationship work, but we must not forget that some of it is just pure luck. There are people who are more deserving, who've ended up in really, really, really bad situations.
Exactly.
So you gotta be humble enough to say, you know what, nile safe tuashukire, because
that's very true. No, I can't wait for you to finish the program.
Oh my goodness, that is very true.
That's it. Because I remember when my wife and I met, she was pursuing her associate's degree, and I was really discouraged to say, why are you dating a student? That's a burden. You can date somebody who's already made up, somebody who's got it. Why are you dating a student? And I didn't know why I was dating a student. I saw potential in her, and just the fact that she was working and going to school, I'm like, this person hustles. I'm okay with it. Like, no, you shouldn't date a student, because what students do is when they finish, they leave you.
Oh yeah, that's
that's the story. Yeah,
that's the story.
And you know what? And I do have some living examples where when a student gets it done, and before you know, they even get a PhD, you're like, how did she do that? And I guess that's why I'm saying I was lucky.
Yes.
Because it didn't happen to me, but I've seen it happen several times, like, How did she do him like that?
It's very true.
So I have a question. So what is a man thinking, right? I guess we've mentioned some of the reasons why. What is a man thinking to not feel that when you're looking at a woman and you say, okay, I've met the right woman, and the person says, oh, I want to educate myself. What is the fear in a man to be with a person who wants to be more like pursue education and get advancement in a career? Like, what is the fear in men not to support their partner?
It's a little bit cultural, I think, because a lot of us growing up, we grew up with mothers who stayed home, and they did not have very much of an opinion. And for us, we are thinking that's the model of a mother. And now in our generation, you meet somebody who has an opinion, somebody who has a drive, somebody who's pretty much, for the most part, you're equal. You're like, that's not what my mother is. My mother is not equal to my dad. And so it's you have to change and adjust and look around and say, okay, this is America and this is the way we have to do it. Otherwise, if we were in Zambia, it would probably be, we're trying to look at our spouses as our little moms, and our moms were very humble, very submissive, and very quiet. So I don't know, Ernest, what do you think?
Poor men in America.
It's a catch-22, years ago, if you recall, and I think I would be right to say that it's important for us to understand that the narrative is changing. You can't relocate from Zambia and you come to the United States and continue to think like you are in Zambia. Okay, you have to change. You have to adjust and understand that the environment that you are in does not support the mindset that you grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so years ago there was that narrative of, you're growing up, Victor, if you were, in a home where we had sisters, maybe you are, even if you are the third born, but you are a man, the concentration on whom to educate, parents will focus on the man.
Yep.
Okay, they want the boy child to get the educational. They will do everything within their power to make sure that boy gets the education. They'll send you for, they'll save up and send you for tuition. When they've seen that there's this young girl who, she has it all. She's intelligent. God has just given her that natural intelligence, but they'll make sure that this boy child goes to school.
Yeah.
I believe that that is extracted from the scriptures. Now, the problem that I have is that they didn't execute it in the right way. Of course, a man is born a leader. That we know from a scripture point of view. A man is born a leader. If you look at the hierarchy, you realize that there's God, there's Jesus, and then there's man, and there's woman, then there's kids, children, so to speak. It's in the Bible. The Apostle Paul wrote about it, and it says, man was not created for a woman, but a woman for a man. In talking about that. So they grew up with that. But as we are changing, the world is transitioning. And now it's like you can educate a woman, and it's just as good as you educating a man.
Exactly.
We are still stuck in that philosophy back home. And even in Zambia right now, I was in Zambia a month ago, you realize that there are enormous number of women who are now educated.
Yeah.
The man is working. They would tell my sister, just she started to be a teacher. She changed. I want to do nursing. She'll be graduating in May. I asked her, why are you changing? Say, I want to also be a part of what is happening in the home. I have to provide as well. The fact that I have a man that can provide, I think it doesn't single me out and not be able to provide. So we have to understand that independence is not equal to leadership, or it does not equate to the fact that you are a well-educated woman. If you understand your role in marriage, it will never be able to cause a man be afraid or develop.
Exactly.
You understand your position as a woman, and you also understand his role as a man that is supposed to lead, whom God has equipped naturally to lead. The problem comes in when our gender is educated to a point where you're talking about where somebody now begins to make 6 figures, and Victor, you are stuck in 4 figures. So the problem is now who's bringing more.
Yeah.
And it is said, we know that whoever has the God rules the game, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think that if our women would understand their position, and not just our women, our men, we should be able to lead. And this is where you come in, with the way you talked about how you help your spouse and make sure that, if she's not available, you roll up your sleeves and make sure everything that is supposed to be done for the kids is done. Unfortunately, our men have not grown up to that extent where they understand what it is that this is my wife. She also gets tired.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
From work, it's like I came from work. I am a typical example of what I'm talking about. I can tell you that when our firstborn child was born, I think it's on few occasions that the mother would be able to say, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this. I took charge of that.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure she was free from that. I had to feed, I had to babysit, I have to make sure that she would get enough rest that she needed, more especially that she was in nursing school at the time. So it was not like, I'm a man, so I have to, when I come back, sometimes I have to make sure that, our environment in the house is clean.
Sure.
I have to sweep up the house, so you have to understand your roles and know that it does not take anything from you as a man if you take up the responsibility of your spouse.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
No, I totally agree with you. Because sometimes when ngandela ndo kwachita maoni kubantu nga olomuzambia nindela ndo nankoshanda ali babwino. Yes, I know that, but bana bako badia fina basunga fina banisha. Balaka na nsala. What do you mean ali babwino? Bakwe.
As men, Zambian men, cultured men, I know we struggle with some of the roles, and I've heard people say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. But sometimes the way America is, you have no option but to take care of Havana, Bobby.
To chime in. That's right.
Exactly.
But I think if I could, I think I understand what they mean when they say Ali Babwin. It's because a greater percentile of people don't do that.
Yeah.
We have to make a comparison between someone who is doing what is not typical.
Yes.
Then we tend to put that person in a category where they are found to be a nice person naturally. Oh, you want to Ali Babwin.
Yeah.
So it's because a lot of us are not doing what we're supposed to do.
Which is very unfortunate.
I'll give you an example. When I took my Nyanja, when I took
Nyanja.
So when I took my boyfriend to Zambia, right? And then we were eating in Balala, in my mom's house. So we're eating. We're eating Balala and it's salad. I think that too, but it was in the living room. So my mom, it's okay in the evening. We can put we usually do that. Like they put like a bed sheet. So everybody when they're eating, it's just there and then you just pick it up. So when we're eating, kids will walk around eating, and then man was like, "Baby, you're just gonna do that," but they're still dirty. There's still stuff around it. I the kitchen, I would on a broom. Not the broom, the one you sweep like this. The one you sweep like this. It's like, how do you do this? And the mom was like, with it. I'm like, what do you mean? I said, Mommy, what do you mean? It's okay. I'm like, no, Mommy, this is him every day. After that, he took the stuff in the kitchen. He went in the kitchen, started washing the dishes. It's like, Winnie, this is not good. And then I think he overheard, because I think, you can understand some stuff. He's like, Mommy, okay, I can help Winnie. I found Winnie equipped. Winnie does everything. So if there's a least I can help her out, is make sure she's okay by me helping her. And then my mom was like, oh.
She said that,
she told him, okay, in our culture, she's just saying, in our culture, you're not supposed to be in the kitchen, you're not supposed to clean. It's like, no, my culture. And he was like, no, I help her clean, I help her cook, I help her wash the clothes, I help her fold the clothes. Because, and then you know what, on the other side, where I was coming from, and this is what I'm saying, I will never tell Mapalo to be, when you get married, and I always say that to her, I have a girl child. I want her to be independent like Sandra. Like you of course, you're the mentor. I want my daughter to know that you are not supposed to do it all. When they tell us as women, I'm Zambian, when they tell us when you're getting married, you're supposed to cook, you're supposed to clean, you're supposed to be submissive. You really need to find a man who's submissive to you as well. Submissive doesn't mean you give it all. It's supposed to be equal. You're supposed to bring yours, I bring mine. It's a respect. It's not like you're doing everything. I will never tell my child you should be able to cook and clean and pick up and wash. No, it's supposed to be equal. I was doing all those stuff.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny the example you gave where your mom is looking at you and saying, "Hey, pocket piango," or whatever it is.
And this is my mother.
It's even more complicated when the mother to the husband sees that, because they'll be like,
"Oh,
that's crazy."
That's a whole different discussion for another day. Because in some families they'll be looking at, let's say like Ernest. So he's the breadwinner, and
it's Pastor Ernest is the breadwinner. Of course.
He's a breadwinner. And then it's like, so it's like it's a little. The other generation cannot understand that. So
Victor, let me come in on that, because I don't know how the Spirit told you that, because I still do that. No, honestly, let me, and this is a true story. We are on air. We were brought up so cultured in the sense that once you finish eating, right, you have to make sure the table is cleared. All the plates are in the sink. If you're the one on duty, you take care of that.
Yep.
And then eventually, as we go up, okay, you can take your food, go sit wherever you want to sit. You know, it was progressive, right?
Yeah.
And then now you're matured a little bit. But the catch was that after you finish eating, you have to make sure your plate is clean.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in that setup. Up to this point, right? Even when I go back home, everyone is saying, "Oh, pasta." When I finish eating, my plate is always washed by me. Up to today, like I was telling you, I was in Zambia. The other day I went to my cousin's house. They gave me, I don't know what they gave me, something nice she had cooked, and then I ate, right? After that, no, I said, no, but I never did it. Let me make sure I Okay, so that's how I've grown up, and I don't see myself, no matter how rich I'll become, I'm looking forward to that moment. But
Yeah.
I don't think that would come out of me. That's just a part of me,
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people would do that even after after you are now in your 40s, you still do what you were doing at 18 years old.
Yeah.
So
Is real quick question: is Shyman still gonna join us, or
No, Shaman is not going to join us. So I think we're going to be ending up by 50. Is that okay? 5 minutes and then we'll close.
yeah, we can do that. So,
Yeah.
but next time, let's make sure we get Chile one because
I know. No, I
the
would
boy
love
from Chile land, I am the number one fan.
no.
Because-
Like,
Listen,
we're working on it.
I will fight you for that number one fan. But I can't even tell you one song by Chile One.
You can't sing?
Oh my God, please. No.
No, his songs are so, at least for me, they are so relatable. And I know a lot of people from Lusaka, Balanda, Jinyimbo Shakwa Chirawan Kwatushimi. People like Mutale Mwanza, it's like, you know what, stop hating, do you, we're gonna do us, like we are villagers, I get it. But Chile One is from Chile land. His songs are so relatable to me. I just like the guy.
Is he the one? Is he the one that is done? That I heard a song. I don't know what the title is. I think that it's Awakuchaumi, right?
Yes.
That's when he just went viral.
Yeah.
That's when he went viral. Yeah, because you can actually picture Abakuchaumi Barefika.
You see, that's the thing. You see, that is the song you're saying. Abakuchaume. It was just I think we have to change syllabus. We have to renew it. Because everything under the Abakuchaume means Abakuchana, they have to cook, they have to do this, they have to do this, they have to do this. Everything needs to be like changed.
Well, I don't agree with like some of the things, right? It's okay. They can stay to just like, I would like to teach my children some culture of Zambia, and some things they can stay. It's okay. Like the whole Chilanga Mulilo to be done by only Bembas, not the way it's done by every Jim and Jack in Zambia wants to do Chilanga Mulilo. But it should be done the right way.
They're wearing Nigerian clothes.
So that's
and then they're marching with their husband. I don't know about that. Like seriously, like what do you mean?
But the whole cooking thing, like I would like to do something for Maron, right? Where I cook Zambian food, or like the women of New York, hopefully.
We will do that.
When they like me one day, they can cook. They can help me cook for him, and just presenting it to him to say how much I appreciate him, right? The whole thing about NSA. Just knowing who I am in this relationship, like I know my position, I know his position, I respect him, he respects me. I'm not going, there's some things that I just know, like he is the man of the house, so I have to, there's some things you just have, the roles that we play in this household. So I'd like to do that, to present to him like, here you go. And that I don't mind cooking and spreading the food for him every day. No, because I go to work 5 days a week.
Yeah.
I'll say something that before we're gonna close in 2 minutes. We all have the thing, maybe last 2 minutes to say something. My grandmother said something that in this, I was very young when she said that, but she said when you get married or when you have your partner that you're gonna end up being with, when you present the question or something that or for example, you want, like, for example, okay, I want to go to Disney World, right? I know I want to go to Disney World, but I have to make sure, as he's the man, to make a decision for us to go to Disney World. So I don't have to say, do you know that next month it's summer and we're going to go to Disney World? We have to go to Disney World. The man going to feel intimidated and he's going to say no, or he's going to feel like you are over him. So how women we speak, when you're being submissive, is how we speak to a man. You find out, like I see it in my relationship now. Let me then I don't. I speak differently. I don't just say, oh, deaf wife. No, I say like, what do you think if we do that? I said, oh, that'll be a good idea. I think we should. I'm like, okay, when would you like to do that? So what I do is like, it's not reverse psychology. That's what my grandma told me. You ask and you give him permission to tell you that this is okay. But most of the time, as women now, we just go direct, and then we find out it's very difficult for us to go across to our men when we ask them a question, because we are too direct, and then they'll say no. But if you go in and say, you know what, honey, I was thinking maybe next summer, if we have any change left, it would be nice to take our kids to Disney. I'm like, oh, I'll think about it. It's a good idea. I know I can make money. I know I can buy tickets. I know we have the money. Like, it's just a matter of me making it, but I'm going to give you time to think about it. And I know it's a good idea. You come back and say, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's make it work. I think that's what my grandma told me. So I was just going to give you that. It's the tips. I didn't know, but now I know.
Now you remember.
Because sometimes you don't find that right person. You can't express yourself how you feel. So as you grow, and you have to find somebody that's gonna love you and respect you in order for you to express yourself. When there's no love, when there's no respect, it's very hard to put your point across to the other person.
And I think the key word there, Winnie, is respect. And the way you communicate. In relationships, we have to go beyond the basics. The basics is food, shelter, and biological needs. I think we have to go up to respect and have full self-actualization for both men and women. And to your point, Winnie, we gotta watch how we say things. Sometimes, even as a man, I'm unconscious of the way I say things, and my wife does remind me, because if I say things in a certain way, she would speak something in Tonga and say kalansi. Kalansi is like when you're telling a child to say sit down, you just kalansi. It's like there's no ifs and buts. Sit down. So if I'm coming across like a dictator, she would remind me and say, hey, you gotta speak nicely. And the opposite is true, because if she's got a bad day or whatever, and then she just snaps a little bit, I would also say, Nancy, like, oh, okay, I gotta watch my tone. So you gotta have that open communication without commanding each other. At the end of the day, it's a 50-50 effort.
Yep.
Nice. Pastor Annie?
Well, I wanted to comment on one of the things that you said, Miss Winnie, but due to time, I'll leave it for next time, about how you say that you never teach your child to do all, to give all, to submit, right? That's a very interesting topic that will be there for another day.
Yeah.
Now,
in a couple of Fridays.
Yes.
Yes, I think we should talk about that, because partly I'm not with Winnie on that, and I'm a woman.
I am totally not with her, so let me be honest.
I'm sorry.
I'm totally, I have to be, I have to be true to myself. So I'm not with her on that. But it's a good thing that you brought it up, because this is why we are on Insaka, right? We come and we learn. One of the things that we have not correctly understood or comprehended is the fact that we have not realized that when the Apostle Paul was talking about a woman submitting to the husband, people forget that he also talked about in Ephesians chapter 5, the same Ephesians chapter 5, in verse 21, he says, submit one to another.
One another.
Okay, so we are so focused on when a woman submits.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's important, it's paramount that we understand the submission should also be shown even from a man. to submit to the husband. The latter part of that is submission because of your relevance in Christ.
Mm.
Wow.
Because if you understood who you are in Christ, you know that my wife is not my child,
No.
right? My wife is equal, because the scripture says when God blessed them, it says go and multiply. And then when they did what they're supposed to do as husband and wife, the Bible says, and they became one. So you are equal. That equality is not in leadership.
Mm.
Okay, that equality will never be in leadership. We are one because we have consummated the marriage. But it should never be equated or taken for a wrong place, and may not submitting to my wife. So also I understand what did even the Apostle Paul mean when he said submit? Because sometimes people mistake obedience and submission. So there's a place for submitting, and then there's also a place for obedience. But we tend to confuse those two. So I just wanted to say those things. But
I'm gonna get to go where I'm guessing she about me. I think because I did it when I was
Listen, it's your lived experience that is.
You leave it, okay, and you can leave.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get ready for my soccer game. It's been real. It's been nice. But yeah, Pastor Ennis, for whatever reason, I missed that part of the Bible where it says submit to one another, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who missed that. But I'm glad you reminded us about
every
that.
Every man.
Yeah, so it's in Ephesians 5:21.
You can leave, Victor.
So
Victor, you have 5 minutes. We close. No matter what, we're gonna close by the dawn. That's it.
Well, Victor, so the issue is that we have concentrated on that because it's to our benefit as men.
Yeah.
If you read it in its context, the Apostle Paul was not saying now women are underdogs.
Yeah.
Because when you come to this, how would one say no, submit, or love your husband? But then he comes and says, oh, this submission that I'm talking about is for both of you. And then he adds the harder part. He said, this submission, I'm telling you, it's the relevance in Christ. So if
I've learned something new. I've learned something new.
by those small things you do.
Oh my God! No, this was bye, Victor. Think have a good one, Sandra. Last remarks. You can leave, Victor. Thank you very much.
No, so I thought this was going to be Freaky Friday. So I'm glad Pastor Ennis you're here. So we can't even talk about the freaky stuff that we're supposed to be doing.
No. Let me make it clear. You surely could. You surely could. You should have. It's a pity that it's when had to tell us, oh guys, to unmove children. No, I live my life here on earth, but I do not forget that I'm a child of God.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
so I mingle with everybody and I know my stand. So I don't confuse my social life with my Christianity. No. So you are free. Next time, please.
Next time, let's just do Freaky Friday, okay? So we can just talk about it.
Actually, the good thing about Pastor Ennis, right, is not. Is really gonna go down to that. Like it will go down to the gutter. And I have a good topic, Pastor Ennis, that we're gonna talk about next time. Because you know what? It's a good thing. It's a good thing because at the end of the day, it's good to know things in the biblical world.
Oh, yeah.
And the culture we're living in. Because like we say submissive, we think about differently. The reason why I know it because of my own fears of how I lived. That's why I'm not my child. So maybe I'm still bitter. So I'm like, hell no, my child ain't gonna do this again. No.
Yeah.
No.
Talk America. My child ain't gonna do this.
All right. No, thank you very much. No, we need to talk about this.
So for me, what I can just leave people with is just having a person who's going to support you. I am lucky, like Victor said. I would say I'm very lucky that I found a person.
Lucky,
blessed. I am
blessed.
Yes, I am blessed, and I thank God every single day. I pray and thank God that He gave me somebody who sees that, okay, this person wants to move forward and is able to support me in decisions that I have made so far. I have moved jobs, and I talk to him. I say, hey, listen, I'm not happy. Can I leave? And he supports me, because that change is going to come with me being stressed the first 3 months, because I'm afraid, are they going to let me go? So him just being supportive and just having somebody who's going to support you is key. Like, that's what I can leave everybody with. So next time,
grow up and be like you.
When she grows up, she wants to be like you.
Listen, lady, I am as old as you are, okay? You are just as strong as I am. Okay?
You guys are the best. Thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you.
This was nice.
Thank you so much. I look forward to next Friday.
Next Friday. Thank you, guys. Bye.